Let's talk a little bit about the origin of Earth's atmosphere or where Earth's atmosphere came from. So, Earth really had three different atmospheres. In the very beginning, the atmosphere was made mostly of hydrogen and helium gas because those were basically the main gases in the planets around the sun at the time. The Earth and its atmosphere was still very, very hot in the beginning. Those molecules of hydrogen and helium, they move really fast, especially when they're warm. And actually, they moved so fast that eventually all of them ended up escaping Earth's gravity and drifted off into space. The second atmosphere that Earth had came from Earth itself. So, in the beginning, there were a whole lot of volcanoes on Earth, many more than there actually are today, because at that time, Earth's crust was still forming. Those volcanoes, when they erupted, they released steam in the form of H2O or water with 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. They released carbon dioxide or CO2, which is 1 carbon atom and 2 oxygens. They released ammonia, which is NH3, that is 1 nitrogen atom and 3 hydrogen atoms. So those were the main gases in the atmosphere for Earth's second atmosphere. Then the third atmosphere. So much of the carbon dioxide that was in the air from the second atmosphere was actually dissolved into the oceans. But eventually, a form of bacteria came about, and they developed so that they could live on the energy from the sun and carbon dioxide that was in the water. They produced oxygen as a waste product, kind of like our plants do. They take in carbon dioxide and they release oxygen. Well, these bacteria did the same. That oxygen began to build up in the atmosphere. And while the carbon dioxide levels started to drop, because remember, they're consuming the carbon dioxide and they're releasing oxygen, so the carbon dioxide was getting less and less, oxygen getting more and more. Meanwhile, those ammonia molecules in the atmosphere were broken apart by the sunlight, and that left nitrogen and hydrogen gases. And that hydrogen, being the lightest element, rose to the top of the atmosphere and eventually drifted off into space. All of this leaving us with the atmosphere that we have today.